by my guest, Rob Brady. How you doing, Rob?
Really well, mate. Thank you.
Rob, you're obviously synonymous with Iceberg Digital. You are their elite performance coach, and I know that a lot of people look up to you in terms of the sort of content that you put out there, but also the encouragement and sort of mentorship that you're doing with agents to get their businesses and their mindset where they need to be. And there's a correlation between the two.
Mm.
Obviously, we're here today to talk PropX. I believe you've got some great experience talking on stage at another event that has an X in it, but you were at TEDx not too long ago. Just talk to us a little bit about the sort of type of talk that you gave there and what you might be sort of leaning towards here at PropX.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me actually to PropX. Really, really excited about doing this event. It's a big synergy towards like how I like to be myself in what I like to do, like living out on a daily basis. The TEDx that I did, I was invited onto was talking about mental health, removing the mask in society, how we can have deeper connections as individuals, and obviously touched on a lot of suicidal prevention part to it. So it was more emotionally led than maybe like a topical thing. I think someone's on there about airships and all sorts of stuff. So
Mm.
this is what I love about these sort of events. You can have such random conversations, but they all come back to the ideology is around living the good life. So 900 people, a nervous experience. I don't think anyone, not to say anything, stand on front of the stage for anyone of that capacity, but what an experience to be able to deliver something that was actually very personal to talking about my late friend.
And it is good though, the sort of when you do get to share sort of more personal stories, I think you make a deeper connection with the audience because
100%.
everybody finds something within that story that resonates with them, I suppose, and you feel like you've left that room a little bit more educated, but also that there's something that you hopefully can take away and weave into your own life. I suppose that's part and parcel of all the stuff that you do is to sort of try and give people tools or give people stories that they can then make their own.
Yeah, I think like my ideology has always been help one person a day. So that could be a simple thing like you're stuck in traffic and you help someone out of a junction, but ultimately to have conversations around mental well-being, mental health, supporting their team, supporting themselves. And I feel like if talks like this that you can be a part of, it inspires someone to change internally and they take their own tools and how they can work themselves out, which ultimately brings more empowerment than maybe being told what to do. Like you should be doing this to change.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work for people. We're all different in our, in our own lives and our own ways of working, our own ways of thinking. So it's what you take from the event.
It's set to be a fabulous day. It's a great venue. It's behind me here. It's actually an IMAX venue, so massive screen, but lots and lots of comfortable seating as well. September the 20th in Birmingham. So I hope to see a lot of people there. Have you we talked off camera, you've not quite put the finishing touches on your on what you're going to be speaking about. But when you were approached about the trust, obviously it is a charity that is providing support to professional estate agents in all manner of sort of different situations. You know, some people who've been ill, some people who are struggling with mental health. There's an awful lot that goes on in running agencies. It is a hell of a lot more stressful than the public give us credit for sometimes. And ultimately, the way that we all get paid as well is it sometimes leaves us hanging on the line to the end, and it's hard to keep going. But when you were approached, I presume that this sort of all fits in line with your sort of philosophy in terms of who you like to help.
Well, Megan and I chatted previously in the past, and like we've even touched base actually on like cold water therapy, which I'm a big advocate of. So the stuff that is done with part of the charity very much aligns with really some of the charitable work that I do and myself. So the talk obviously as soon as she said, "Do you want to do this?" I thought, "Yep, straight. That's cool." Like I've prepped for a TEDx talk. I know how to set up talks. I know the condensed part of these talks and how special they are. bringing it down to a real finite message. So I'm just going to bring all the years of experience that I've had with dealing with mental health charities and dealing with toolkits and all my other talks, and bringing it into something a bit more unique and a bit more special that's will support specifically for agency owners and how to empower their teams with mental well-being.
Do you think we're getting better at having these conversations, Rob?
I think the willingness to open up and have conversations is there. I think the narrative on really like the talk that I wanted to deliver is actually, are we listening? How do we have those deeper conversations amongst each other? That it's all well and good saying I've got let's talk about mental health, but how? What toolkits can we have in our daily offices that we could have those conversations on a daily or weekly or monthly or yearly basis that actually can not only empower the teams to enjoy spending 8 hours a day in their working environment, but also when you have those down days, like what can we do in our businesses to help those members of staff? I think it's just that I'm a big passionate advocate of bringing your authentic self to your work, because that's where we shine the most.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right, because there is that seems sometimes we do create a bit of a buzz, and nobody wants to get accused of just tokenization where you're just sort of using it on the days that you're meant to be using it and say, well, we support this and let's have conversations about it. But you need to know where to go with it and how we can all walk together in order to improve that mental health journey that so many of us struggle with and have struggled with for years. This isn't a new phenomena. I think what's new is that we are sort of beginning to talk about it. And as we're beginning to talk about it, we're finding that way to help each other, which is absolutely fantastic. So I on behalf of the Trust, just wanted to thank you very much for pitching in and agreeing to talk. We're very excited to hear what you've got to say, and we look forward to seeing you on September the 20th. Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate the invite.